Hello, hello. How are you? Happy Wednesday. How you guys doing? I cannot not look pink ever. That's why I tell people I just can't look anything but pink. I try. I'm gonna stop wearing pink and red because it just makes it worse. So how are you guys? Happy Wednesday. Hump day, woo woo, as my friend and I say. Hey Margaret, hey Jan. How's it going? I got all my pattern pieces here because I was gonna start adding some seam allowances, like extra. Hi Hillary, welcome. Hi Elizabeth. You are a pink person too. You don't look that pink to me. That's funny. Hi Tiffany. Yeah, it's I feel like that's all I'm trying to work on. I have a warm light and a cool light. Cool light's more like for the table. How's it going? Hi Aisha. All right, so I thought I'd do a tiny bit of share and tell. Share and tell? Wait, is that the expression? Why does that sound wrong all of a sudden? Share and tell. Share and tell. That's what we did when we were kids, right? Share and tell. Say and tell. See and share and say and. Why does that sound wrong? Show and tell. Oh my gosh, thank you. Sorry, Loki, I startled him. Show and tell. I kind of figured the second word was right. I meant to bring one of the new things I sewed out here, but I forgot. Thank you guys. Show and tell. Show and tell. All right, so I am busy working on this travel bag pattern that I made during Me Made May, or Let's Make May as I call it. I call it on my channel, like, because I respect Me Made May. And this is something that we manufactured, and it was a really successful thing, and I love mine. And this is one of my favorite things I've ever designed, actually. So this is underway, finally. It's got a pocket here and a pocket here. See that? This one here is divided. Right here, two little ones for like medicine, hair clippies. I use mine for hair clippies. Oh, what is? Oh, it's the handle. 3 elastic pockets in there. 1 zippered pocket here. And then this is, I usually put my shampoo bottles in here and then just take this I don't take this into the shower, but you can. I use waterproof fabric, so I can. So yeah, this is underway, and I'm chipping away at it as well as like 3 other things. But one thing I'm switching to doing some things in Affinity Designer. So that's adding a layer, but that's actually going to cut down on the time overall. So, and I'm also making it so that, I'm trying to make it so that you don't have to have a hook here. You can just have a loop. I was like, what am I doing this? I give these away free on my website because they're just old pattern hooks, but I know that's not sustainable. And I made this Velcro because mine was like a loop here, and you went through it and back on itself. I'm just trying to simplify it. I am toying with making a mostly non-binding method, but honestly, I'm just gonna be straight up with you guys. I'll probably sell, maybe if I'm lucky, $500 in sales over time with this pattern. And I will spend so much time making the pattern. Like, you hear this sob story from everybody. So in a way, I'm just like, suck it up, Buttercup, and do the binding. I'm sorry. Binding is amazing. You should learn how to do it. And I'm not going to coddle you about it. Get a binding attachment. This thing is so fast to sew if you have a binding attachment. You only have to bind the perimeter, and that's it. All the rest of it, binding attachment, zip, 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 zip. You will see, I made it during Let's Make May in less than an hour, I think. So anyway, I got some cool fabrics to do a couple samples. I've been buying some waxed cotton. I've never made one in waxed canvas before. This right here is Splash Fabric, which is a laminated cotton, and I had sort of turned my back on laminated cottons because I just don't really like the feel, but these are amazing. They're like buttery soft, washable. You can iron them, easy to sew. Would you guys know that was laminated? I mean, like, it is, their stuff's really nice. I really like it. I'm not sponsored either. I have done videos for them, but I just have a bunch of their fabric left in my stash. This is even the laminated cotton. I do have vinyl in this. Yes, you do, Aisha. A little bit of vinyl. You don't have to do vinyl. I think doing something that's a little bit waterproof is great for a travel bag. I've never washed mine. I probably should. Mine that I use is a 500 denarii Cordura with quilting cotton, like hits of quilting cotton as decoration. So mine has roller skates right here. I'm going to do these waxed canvases. These are from Al Francis. And I'm looking for a cute print for the little thing here to go with these. I keep looking for travel fabrics. The only place you really need decoration if you want it is everywhere this gray is. Oh, this is the lining, actually. So I would only use it here and here. You need very little. So yeah. I like making it and you like sewing on. That's awesome. It is kind of a fun thing to do to fill the time, making binding. So yeah, we've got these going on. I bought a bigger piece because I want to make myself a new bag for me because mine is pretty much dying. And I accidentally bought more of this. This is also a waxed canvas, this plaid. It's really pretty. And I got this really pretty purple to go with it. And for some reason, there was a piece of this in my cart when I ordered that stuff, so now I have more. I don't really need that much. I was planning on making myself a bag out of this too, but then I was like, you can tell I was in a very fall mood. I wish this purple showed up better. See, it's really pretty. I love this purple stuff. I think these are just half yard pieces, but I got a whole yard to make my bag. So I kind of went from this to this. This is more like all year. So that's a couple of the things I'm up to these days. Let me put my canvas back here. Oh, you probably saw that the 11sies bag was released by So Liberated, and here's my version. I made this bag. It is quite a project, like very satisfying. You do all the stuff. Little zippered pocket here. Look at, boop. I love that the quilting shows. And this is my mod. I quilted this front pocket to match the quilt design. But it comes with 2 other quilt motifs. This is the whole quilt design. And there's a blog post about how to do this. So, their sale ends today, I think. Not sponsored, but kind of. Let's see here. Let's see. This is my selfish thing I got myself was a new folio cover in graph paper. You see this little bubble here and here? My folio cover. You could find, I was so not stealthy with this thing. You could find me with a trail of flaked off pieces of black because mine was just wearing out. I asked for a new one for Christmas and got it, and it wasn't the same one, and it weighs, I swear to God, it weighs 10 pounds, so I stopped using it. But this is the cool thing I got, is I got a new skin for my pencil, which you've probably seen my Apple Pencil, and it's green gingham, which I designed, but then I don't know what happened. There was a little piece of plastic on it, and I'm a fiddler, so I picked it up and just peeled the entire clear plastic protective coating on my gingham went off. And then almost within a week, it all rubbed off the green gingham print. So I bought a new one, and it looks like my favorite pencils. I keep confusing them on my desk. The only thing that saves me is that the tip is white. I didn't do a very good job putting on the skin. The first time I did a good job, and then I realized I wanted to put this one on that covers the top too. You get 5 in the thing. So anyway, this was a little splurge I did because I ruined my skin on my pencil. And I absolutely need something so I don't lose it. I saw these and I was like, oh, I'm definitely getting this. And then this is saving my folio, giving me a few more years. So I think that's all the silly things I've been up to. I had a bowline sweater that I made in a sweater knit. And I was going to show you that because it turned out really great. Yeah, right? I mean, I love it just because, like, I have lived with these pencils for decades. Like, I love, and I wouldn't have gotten it if it had been the wrong one on the end. Like, I use the 4H. So if you guys don't know what these pencils are, I use them for pattern drafting, and the H, when it says H on the end, 4H. I use 2H and 4H for pattern drafting because it's not a very dark line, so it's very unsatisfying to use that way, but it stays sharper longer because it's a harder lead and it's more precise. So that's nice. But I mean, everybody, I feel like their guilty pleasure would be like 2B, 4B, or HB because it's a softer lead and you can see it better. So favorite pencils are important, yeah. So anyway, when I saw, because I was going to design my own skin again. They're only $12, and at that company you get 5 of them. So you can screw it up and it's fine. But I designed the gingham one, and by design, that is a very loose term. There is a pencil in Procreate called gingham because I have a fabric textures pencil pack. And they're all like linen and canvas. And so I was like, oh, this will be fun to add some textures to things like when I'm just playing around drawing clothes. And the gingham one, I just did this really quick, like in 5 minutes. I just took their template, drew it in green, uploaded it, ordered it, boom, it was done. That's all I did. I just wanted something that I wouldn't lose. So anyway, what else have I been up to? I made my mom a Pierce shirt that turned out beautiful. I have not seen it on her yet, but I tell you what, that shirt is a lot of work. I say that's a lot of work. But you get something you love. I have now modified it for the style of sewing I like. I have kind of chucked the zero waste thing out the window because let's face it, when you're cutting it the second time, you're not really, it's not all laid out on the fabric anymore, and you can put things wherever you want. I made a proper back neck facing. I definitely do the drop pocket and the chest instead. I think that looks way more elegant with that design. And if you do anything, if you make that shirt, the one thing I recommend is making a facing for the hem and not doing the bias facing. And that's saying a lot. Y'all guilted you all into either canceling me about binding or seconding my feelings about binding. And I am saying the bias facing on that hem is savage. So anyway, but it came out beautiful. I took some photos real quick. So maybe I'll share them. I don't know. What else I've been doing? I've been really busy. Whatever. Anyway. So yesterday, we're making we're cutting out the Tauko, I hope I say that right, Echo top today. The Echo top comes with 2 views. One's called Callisto and one's called Echo. My nose it feels really funny right now, sorry. So I thought I would share with you a couple of the fun things you get when you purchase the pattern is you get a grid of each one and you get a 3D rendering of each one. You get the 3D rendering in size 2 and size 5. This is the size 5, the one that's spinning right now. And then on the grid, that size 2 is that model right there. You get the same thing for Callisto as well. You get a grid and you get the 3D. So you get 4 3D renderings. Do I think this accurately portrays how this fits? Kinda, yeah. But let me tell you, I cut this out and sewed it yesterday as a muslin, and all I did, let's get rid of the spinning ink, it's a little distracting. All I did was, let's see, I cut the yoke template out. So this pattern has a pleated yoke, and you pleat the yoke pattern. Here's the big pattern. You pleat this, and then you put your template on top of your pleated fabric, and you cut it out. So I used this, the front, lower front, the back, to make a muslin. And then you get a sleeve lining. Curiously, you get a sleeve lining. I didn't know the sleeve was lined. And the, you know, because the sleeve is a kind of an architectural pointed thing, but you get a lining. So I was like, perfect. I'm going to see how the sleeve fits. Well, this upended my whole afternoon because I actually had looked at a lot of those fitting things closely to see what kinds of things I'd be looking for. And honestly, the only thing I thought I was going to have to do was add a bust dart. Because do you see that fold coming straight off the bust? That thing is wicked in person. And do you see the fold going right here? This right here, the armhole one right here? That right there is because you need a bust dart when you see that. I'm going to tell you, I need to do a video on the top like 3 or 4 fitting issues I see the most. That is one of them. And the number of people I encounter that don't want darts but still want a contoured fit, we have to have a heart-to-heart about this, and that's why I'm doing a quick fit next week about like FBAs and armhole gaps, because you can't, right? So you have a bust, no matter how prominent it is, and you have shoulder blades, and you have to shape around them. If you, Walter, yo, it's nice to see you. How are you? Are you busy? So you have to use darts, right? You have to use seams or darts to shape. Now, I can let go of that. Like, it's okay if something has a fitting issue. This is okay. I think it's great they're showing you this. This is what you can expect, exactly what you can expect. It looks fine because she's just standing there like this, right? I could kind of let it go. It would kind of bug me because it was a lot bigger in person because I cut the wrong size, and that was great that I did that because I misunderstood. Their chart is kind of interesting. They give you only the finished measurement. So they say, take your measurement, add 3 inches, cut that size. But then they tell you the model is wearing a size smaller. Life is happening all the time. Okay, though. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it's nice to see you. I was thinking about you a few weeks ago, hoping you were having a good, happy new year. Your craft room is crafting. So I have my muslin here, but this muslin, I feel like is going to show it worse than it really is because this isn't what I'm going to do. This is kind of the, what do I need to do? Here we go. So here I have her. So let's see if I can get her a little closer for you guys. So this sleeve is sewn on. I'm sorry, I actually threw it in my bin because I was going to stream from my office and my other office. And then I realized I'm going to cut here. I'm going to sew from up there. But do you see the fold? There's that fold hanging off the bust, right? So watch, when you add a dart, right? You add a little bit of a dart and you add some shaping. The armhole is so low, it's hard to add a dart here. But if you add a dart, you can get rid of it, right? You can get the shaping around the bust a little bit, right? But here was the main problem. Like that, maybe I could let that go if I cut the smaller size and it wouldn't be so prominent. And here's the architectural sleeve. This was pretty easy to sew. But hide your eyes for, this is definitely the lowest armhole you've ever seen in your life. I couldn't show you how this fit on me because it was not safe for work. So this is what I was thinking. I was like, okay, when I sewed the sleeve on, there was no ease at all in the sleeve, none. And there's 3 or 4 paragraphs devoted in the instructions on how to ease the sleeve in. So I was like, cool, there's ease. There's no ease. There's no ease at all. And I was like, well, okay, that's not so bad, because with all this architectural, like 3-dimensional stuff poking out, that's going to cover that up, except you have a lining. If you decide to line it, you're gonna feel it. So I think that if you make this, and you don't want to do what I did to mine, I would skip the lining. Try it on. Just cut and sew a muslin really quick. You don't have to pleat it. You just need 2 yokes, your lower front, your back, 1 sleeve. This took me 10 minutes to sew together, right? We're not finishing, we're not doing anything. We're just pressing our seams out. And try it on and see what you think without putting, this is really easy to sew in because there's no ease, right? And then see what you think. I'm gonna definitely create a sleeve like this so you can see the difference between ease, because that's another thing that I have to really help people understand is you really need the ease in the sleeve, because this part of your body, like right here, your joint is like right here, right? The separation starts right here at your pit. From here up, that is attached to your body, right? We're all, D-Mac, what, my goodness, what is up with you guys? I've got 2 people I haven't seen in forever. How's it going? Wow. If you have your arm is connected from here up, right? This little section, where is this 3-dimension happening from the seam out to the edge of your sleeve, right? The camera's like over there. So like this right here, this little chunk, right? My sleeve seam on this shirt is right here. What's going to give you that space? Ease in the sleeve cap, right? If you don't have it, what happens is the sleeve pulls straight across your arm. It's going from seam to seam, straight across. Does that seem more like, does that make sense? So, make the muslin, try it on, and if you find that the sleeve is really uncomfortable, I just wouldn't line the sleeve, because you don't have to. When you top stitch your architectural points here of the sleeve, you're going to enclose the seam allowance. So, and the sleeve is pretty cool, right? Oops, sorry, I just bonked the table. It'll be more comfortable because you have these little points and stuff. So anyway, that would be my tip if you don't want to do what I did. I decided to add a little ease. I almost pressed stream ending, I don't know why. I'm good. Yeah, I moved into a place at my house, and I didn't think I could live stream from here, and I can. So I have been, but I still have my office. I'm still working on the background here because it's freaking dark in here. There's no lighting, if you can't tell. How have you been, D-Mac? Dalvin. Nice to see you. All right, so let's talk about what I did. So normally, here's your sleeve, right? Normally, if I was going to add ease, I would just slice down here and open it, slash and open it up, right? But to keep this really easy, we're going to cheat, and we're just going to add it at the underarm here. So I added 3/4 of an inch on each side. I also gave myself a lift. I lifted up the armhole because the depth is too low, but I also went down a whole size, so the armhole's not quite that low. And then for the sleeve pieces, I'm going to show you. They're all numbered, so it's not as hard as it looks. There's a lot of them. I'm going to show you a couple things. I know many of you aren't making this, but the odd person that is, if you're scared about how this sleeve goes, let me show you a secret. Because these two edges have to be identical to one another. These two identical to one another. These two identical to one another, okay? 7 and then 8. All right, so now let me show you. I like that. That sounds awesome. I would say the same. Adapting, creating, and trying to do better. That sums it up for me too. Trying to keep level-headed lately. All right, so there is a very clear seam allowance little shape right here. You see that it's flatter right here? So right here, see right here, that's a 3/8 inch seam allowance or 1 centimeter. Right there, that's your seam line, right? So if you take each of these, see there's that other one, right? And you overlap it, oops, it's this one here. If you overlap it right there on the seam line, right? There's your cap. See here, there's the cap right there. So now, I added that notch because they're like, this seam is a notch. I'm like, no. And same with this one here, like if you overlap it. And then you'll start seeing, there's your sleeve cap right there. So just ignore all these little points because that's just how they added it, right? And so same here. Oops, 4, 5, 6. Tune it out and just make the sleeve cap. There you go, right? There it is. Okay, and see how it matches at the top? So if I wanted to keep this sleeve change really easy and cheat a little bit by getting me some ease, because really we want it up here. So we're going to get it up there, but it's not technically correct to do it this way by a long shot. And I could have, right? I could have added it and sliced and spread some of these pieces and done that, but I didn't. I wanted to give you guys an easy alternative. And all you have to do then is alter these two pieces to match here, right? So I added the same. I went up. You don't have to do this lift thing. You can just add this and you'll get the ease that you want. So I just thought I'd point that out. Now, I'm realizing that I might want French seams. What is it with the 3/8 seam allowances? Yes, I know you can do French seams with the 3/8 inch seam allowance, but not all fabrics are very friendly to that. Let me show you what I'm using today. Speaking of fabric, we'll just put that funky sleeve over there. There's also facings, and I think I'm not going to do the facings because I think I'm just going to cut this as a lining as well. So here's my fabric. I'm using this sort of arm. Yep, see you, Dalvin. Nice seeing you. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. I'm using this like army green Merchant and Mills linen Michael gave me as a gift. Not bad, huh? He went shopping and surprised me. It's kind of a loosely woven. Is this linen? It might be a cotton. I tell you what, you put the brand name Merchant and Mills on it, you can charge a lot. All right, so this right here, you can kind of see it's larger and it will stick out along the sides. I'm not going to worry about that piece too much. Maybe I'll add a little bit around. That's the piece we're going to alter. I think I'll skip the facings because I'm going to line the front yoke, and I'll just do a little piece of binding on the back neck. That seems a little bit nicer than dealing, because I'm always trying to think about like what I want to deal with ironing wise later on. what I don't want to deal with. Oh, the other thing I forgot to share was this shirt I made yesterday or the day before yesterday. I'll show it to you real quick. It's a super busy print, but it's, I'll have to show you on the other camera. I was kind of inspired by this shirt in the Pattern Chatter. So it is a pullover. It's got a camp collar, pockets with flaps, and then I did a little cuffed sleeve. I think the whole picture of it is kind of better. I don't know. It didn't translate well in this fabric, but I don't care. The fabric is a hand-drawn print that is a bunch of animals that go to a carnival. It's so cute. It's from Miss Matatabi. Yes, it's the Miss Matatabi. I finally cut and sewed it. Look at this fabric. It is, look, I'm not big on circus stuff at all, but if you could see this up close, like these are 3 little kitty cats getting onto the carousel, and this bunny is riding a panda bear. It's so cute, and it's all hand drawn. Ugh, I loved it. It's one of those things that makes me happy, but like if you saw me in person, you'd be kind of like, what is that? You know? And it's super comfortable. And I just used my pullover camp, the one I made in Eyelet I don't know when I made it, but I made a pullover camp shirt that I drafted on stream. And all I did to it was I put I took off the popover placket and I just made a slit right here because that's what I liked about that thing in the Pattern Chatter. What was that, a Fiber Mood pattern? That was Fiber Mood, right? If you like novelty prints, just go to Miss Matatabi because theirs are so elevated, especially if you like cats. Like there's this one, it's these cats, it's like called Shipping or something, and it's cats in various forms of wearing boxes. I want so bad. There was another one that I really wanted. Like, I have to not look because I do not need any of that. It's exactly. Yeah, I'm making I have to make a dress soon, and I was looking for fabric, and so it was like, you should try Miss Matatabi. I was like, I can't believe you said that. That is so, that's like catnip for me. I love that store. The shipping, it arrives like that, and the shipping is very reasonable. Cute stuff. All right. Anyway, but I think like you could get this kind of vibe from that shirt from using the Donnie. I don't know the differences between these patterns anymore. Yes, needs and wants are 2 different things. That, I live my life by that. I live my life by that. Yep. Okay, let's get to it. So, I need tops though, so that I'm glad I made the bowline sweater because that sweater I've had since last year. I got that from Style Maker and I love that sweater and it's so nice. And then I got this last year and I've been kind of like, I was going to do my little blouse with the little darts that I wear a lot, but I want to use every bit of it. So, oh, I know, I have a piece of the scrap here. This is all I have left, but let me show you. And I also like a lot of color. Like, I like all the colors, but it's just, it's so cute. Sorry, it's hard to see though, huh? Look at the teacups. It's so funny to me. I don't know why. Look, there's a bear selling popcorn to a rabbit. You know? Okay, animals don't need us. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna add some seam allowances real quick and then we can cut this out. There you go, Nancy. How are you liking that fabric thing you got? what's it called? You got like I saw on Instagram. I follow it, you guys. You guys are really the only people I interact with for the most part. My tape is a little unhinged right now because I put all of my removable tape on my regular tape. I should have done this yesterday, but I completely forgot. I got so side-swiped by the fitting. Oh, I'm going to show you also that I added a dart right here. And you'll probably be a little bit annoyed to know that I just sketched it in. Anything's better than nothing. I just really wanted some shaping there. My dart on my blouse is a lot larger than this one, but I figured anything's going to be nice to get rid of that, you know, the gaping. So, all right, so we're just going to add a 1/4 inch everywhere. This, when you cut out multiple sizes, you should do this before you cut it out, you know? Rachel, hello. How's it going? This is on the fold, and I found this to be really confusing that the box around all the pattern pieces is parallel to the center back fold. And so I started having like a crisis of like, what did I do? Like, I don't even know what I cut out because, yeah, so I put some arrows here. This is the line. You want this cut on the fold. And I always do this squiggly line, but I hadn't done that yet. That's also my, because I've made so many mistakes not doing that. All right, when you're in the middle of a project. That's fair. I'm so excited. The other day I learned how to do a print at home PDF layout in Affinity because that's what I'm going to do. Let's see if I can get this on here to do both edges, barely. That's what I'm going to do for the travel bag. It'll take me so much less time. And hopefully take less paper for people, you know? This is why I like the graph ruler, right? You can just run it parallel. It's really quick. There's no excuse. And you have seen me over the years go, I'll just add it when I'm cutting it out. And then I completely forget one edge, you know? And I'm going to also secure my paper on the back because once we trim this down, that little edge can fall off. All right, so I did those two. This one. Sorry I use so much tape. I know it's probably really stressful to see that. I'm not by nature a very wasteful person, but this is something, definitely something work related that I was just taught this, you know. I do get the somewhat more environmentally better tape now. Thankfully, there's an option. But what I could do next time is probably, like, can't I just plop this into Inkscape and just add the seam allowance on there? I don't know, but I know there's definitely more than one person out there going, oh my God, this lady and her tape. This lady and her tape have a lot of experience. This lady knows you need a lot of tape. It's just one of those things. Oh, I don't need it along the neckline. I'll just leave that 3/8. Okay, we good there. So now on this sleeve, what I'm thinking is I'm only going to add it to the cap. You know what I mean? I'm not going to worry about the cap and the underarm. I'm not going to worry about the hem or the seams to make the points. I'm also thinking of doing contrast thread. What do you guys think? I was thinking kind of maybe like a yellowish green with the army green. But maybe I should do white. Do you think white would look better? I don't know. Oops, that's not, this is my seam right here. I cannot see it. It's right here. Okay. We're going to trim that one right away. Have many of you made any patterns out of the Tauko magazine before? Like, what have you guys done? I know someone in the guild made this recently, but they didn't do the sleeves, I think. They didn't do either sleeve. They just, I think, probably just wanted the pleated yoke. I should just show you guys how, well, I've shown you guys how to do how to add pleats. Then you don't have to buy a pattern just for it. In fact, this pattern does not give you pleats. You have to draft them in yourself, so. These things are very patchworky. I'm just gonna eyeball it. It's faster, and I am really good at eyeballing a 1/4 inch. All right, so we're just doing it on these other pieces, just along the cap here. And this is so I have options for the seam finishing. Like, I don't want to have to do a serger. Not on something I'm spending a lot of time on, you know? This one had some weird angles, so I didn't want to second guess. Or what? I don't know. What are you asking me, Aisha? What did I say wrong? You have to, yeah, you do. You do. You have to on the pierce too. Everybody makes you do that. No comment. I know that this is like the most boring ever. And I'm going to tell you, it's a little bit because I just like to demonstrate that everyone has to do stuff like this, and it's not hard. And I'm kind of hoping like the more we look at things like this, we don't shy away from doing it, because I do too. Sometimes I feel like, ugh, I don't feel like I'm not in the mood for doing that, you know? I'm kind of shocked that there was no ease in the sleeve. There's like 3 paragraphs in the sewing instructions on how to add the ease, how to sew the ease in the sleeve, but there isn't any. So I'm not sure what that's about, you know? I wonder if they just added as a standard of course, like I imagine they have like a lot of pattern instructions that they have to write all the time. And so they use the same, they just copy paste the same verbiage to cover all the bases, you know? I get that. Let's see if we can get this in this last piece of paper. No. I was so not allowed to do stuff like this wherever I worked. But this wouldn't have been a final pattern anyway. My hinges are not hinging. Okay, I need a little bit, but I have some scraps here. Ooh, look at that. Last piece. Nope. I'm just going to cut that tape. There we go. All right. So I think it's next week that for the quick fit, I'm doing it on full bust adjustments and armhole gape. But next month, I think that's it. It's either that or I'm going to show you how I'd fit a back. I know there's probably a ton of people sick of hearing me talk about the back, but I just wanted to show a couple things about it. But then next month, my ideas for quick fit are I'm going to cut out a whole bodice in muslin and I'm going to fit it with you guys. I'm just going to show you how I would do that. Because I think that that's the thing lacking a lot in fitting, and myself included. I don't feel like I show this enough, because for me it's clear, right, what I'm talking about, but it's really hard to convey sometimes what you're talking about. And you know, and I know it's hard when you don't get to see the whole garment, right? You're just seeing like one piece on the back, right? It's like, it seems like we're all cheating you guys out, and we're not like doing the work and showing you the whole garment. And honestly, it's just because it's so many samples. It's so many samples that you have to make. So you do try and minimize the number of samples that you have to sew. So I just do half a bodice usually. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a few patterns, like anything, like even not something that's been fit to me like this, but maybe something like the Piper boho tunic by Wardrobe by Me, or whatever you guys, if I have it, if I own it and you have a request, ask me, and I'm going to cut it to fit this dress form. I'm going to show you how I would fit it, and then show you how I would do, and I can do that in less than an hour. Like that's how I could do it. And because I think seeing how you drape on the body is really really the crucial bit. Knowing how the fabric needs to fall on the body and then what to do with that. That's what I want to show. All right, let's cut this out. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. Oh, let me show you this dart I drafted. So you know how I've been showing you how to compare your patterns? And you know, I line up, I tape my shoulders together, and then I line up the side seam right here at the underarm. And then I can do a comparison like, how is this looking? I did that on this one after I did my muslin, just to kind of see like, and mainly I did that because I had already sewn the muslin and I sewed it too large. I sewed a size 5, which was a finished 49-inch bust. My bust is like 39. And I don't know why I picked that. I don't know what made me misunderstand what they had written in there. So I ended up, this is the size 4. I only had the 4 and the 5 printed. I didn't even print this myself for once. I had this printed. I had made so this is the size 4. And it is still going to be a little oversized. And then because I had the muslin in such a larger size and things were looking almost like I was about to postpone the whole stream, I was like, just Saremy, just do this. I looked at the size 4 and I compared it to my pattern. In fact, the pattern I based this shirt off of, because this is about as loose as I would want to go. Like, this is pretty loose. And I looked at my dart on there and I was like, yeah, okay, my dart on here is probably almost like 1.5 times this size. And I looked at the length of it. And so I just drew it on there, all right? I just plunked a dart on there, literally just plunked a dart on here. And then when I fold this dart like this and I hold it up to my back, right? It was going to be that much shorter right here. Here's the original hemline. So I had to add length so that it matched the back. So that's all I did. Because just some kind of shaping is better than nothing. Like, something is better than nothing, right? And it's a big enough shirt that I could tune it up a little after I'm done. That's what I'm thinking. And that was about as much time as I wanted to invest in it. Like, I get to a point where I'm like, well, this is all I'm willing to do at this stage without knowing more information. I'm disappointed the sleeve doesn't have ease. I knew it didn't have a dart. I expected that. All right. This is in lining, so I'm going to set this aside. I may not even do it. We also don't need to cut the yoke template. You want to set that aside because that is after you have put your pleats in. And I also drew these lines on here. You see my faint lines. So it says 1.6 inches apart. Now this is one confusing thing, and maybe if someone's made this, they can tell me what they think. But they say start from center front and draw your first line 1.6 inches away. And then every single one 1.6. Now, center front to me would be on this seam line right here, right? It would be here. But they don't say, do they mean the seam line or do they mean the cut edge? So I think I did it from the cut edge. Mainly because this gap between this one and the one on this side would be really large if I go from center front. So right now, the way I'm looking at this is like these are each 1.6 inches away. And these first two are going to be, they're going to be about like 2.25 away. I don't know, I just kind of go between Yeah, I mean, I don't have a metric ruler, and I don't know if they gave metric. I can't remember. It's definitely geared for metric. It says, yeah, there's definitely metric. So the yoke has a seam at the center front and is covered. Oh, the yoke is covered in 0.4 inch or 1 centimeter wide tucks. I translate that as 3/8 of an inch. Start with the yoke piece and measure 1.6 or 4 centimeters parallel to the center front. So I think that, yeah, so I just went between 1/2 inch and 5/8. I don't think that has to be that precise either. Like that doesn't bug me at all. Like 1.6 is fine. I think the confusing thing is that I didn't know where to start. So yeah, I mean they don't have 5/8. They have 4 centimeters. So you could just use a ruler that has centimeters, and then do that. That might be more accurate to what they are saying to do. I just didn't know where to start. Actual center front, like right here, or, you know, they have the center front. They have it closer to the cut line. That's not center front, this is. So I'm not sure. And you want to do 8 or 9. It depends on which size you're doing. This was 9 right here. So I'll probably just do 8 because I need seam allowance. Yeah, I think the center front problem is a bigger problem because how big of a gap do you want between your first two? With the stitching along the center front, that's going to make the gap look smaller, is what I'm thinking. So I just did it from the cut edge, not center front, just so you guys know. And you can see how mine turns out and decide if you want to do yours further apart by the end, right? I'm going to do contrast top stitching too. I loved the look of the sample being contrast. I think that was cool. All right, so we just need this yoke, lower front, back, and your puzzle. Your puzzle pieces. Let's move the tape. I really need a new blade, and I don't have new blades here, which I did not realize. This will look better on my cameras at the office when we're sewing, I promise. It's still dark though. This fabric's really wide. I didn't iron it because you know me, I want it to look as close to how it'll look when I'm wearing it. Can I get this across? Almost. If that was the center back, I could. I'm off the table. I think what I'll do is turn my fabric I kind of like it when it's really wide to just cut it right side up. Lately I've been doing that a lot because I have a table there. There we go. Sorry it's so dark. Getting it on grain here. All right, so we can get our lower front here. We can get our back here. having almost like solidly spring weather, and now it is raining. I hope I like this top on me. I wasn't, like when I tried it on, I put the sleeve on, I was like, why does this look different on me? Why does this look kind of kooky? But I love making things that are kind of different, you know? Like, I'm so appreciative of people, designers, making a design that's something I've never seen before, you know? I have to press hard. Never a good sign. Yeah, I know she's a pro with that blouse she keeps making with the tucks. They look so cute on her. Hers are so perfectly even. Mine won't be. Hi, Sylvia. I am going to put a notch right here at the center back for my label. But I don't think I really need any others. I know this is the back, so I'm not going to notch. And the reason I do that is if I decide to do French seams, notches kind of are a drag to deal with when you have French seams, you know. We have a really light crew today, I'm just realizing. I guess not other people don't think of this as interesting as I do, like this kind of pattern. I love this thing. It's so interesting. Oh, geez. Yeah, I know, it's a work day. Cutting is definitely not the draw sometimes either. Oh, that's awesome, Dawn. I've been saving my selvages a lot lately. They've been really handy, you know, for the like tying bundles of fabric and stuff. Oh, here they are. Yeah, right, Nancy? Exactly. I didn't punch my dart here, so we're going to have to pull it through the paper. It's really annoying. There we go. Yeah, the process sewing is definitely appealing to me as well. Okay, I don't need these pattern pieces. So we'll fold these guys up. Yeah, I was just whining in the live feed the other day how you guys have seen me make lots of pajamas. I made them on stream. I make them on my own. And rarely do I wear the ones I make. I still like my old ratty ones, you know, and I really need to just, because then I'm like, oh, I still need pajamas. Wait, how do I have this much fabric left? Holy, what the heck? How do I have this much fabric left? Look at all this fabric. Oh, I hate that. Dang it. Nice, Tiffany. When's the wedding? I'm just going to cut this a tiny bit larger since I did add the 1/4 inch around things. But this one is to do the, you have to add the pleats to it. I'm cutting along the size 4 line. I haven't cut all the pieces yet, but what I have left are small. We'll keep this together. But you know what I can do? I would probably use my hero marker to mark them like this. So, you know, I have like this. Now, when I use the hero marker for tucks, it's so hard to get this thing to go straight sometimes. I like to do this on the back side. And it's not because I'm worried that it'll show. It's because it's easier to iron. Because I iron the pleat in along the fold, and they do too, which is great. So let me show you. This might not stay till tomorrow, so that's why I'm wondering why I should do this right now. But we're here at a table, which is really nice, you know. Okay, so see how all my lines there? But, and they're faint on the other one, but you want them really firm because now when I go to iron them, the dent is going this way, right? Because if I fold them from this side, the dent kind of fights me. So that's why I say do it on the wrong side if you can. Plus, if you do like chalk or something, it'll be, although you won't be able to see it if you do chalk. It works on the wrong side for the hero marker. Because you can see the dent on the right side. I really mangled this one right here. This is when you're really thankful you've cut on grain, because, you know, if you're a tiny bit off, which I'm not perfect, it'll kind of grab your hero marker and take you along the wrong grain. This one's sharper than my other one, but it's a little harder for me to get it to go straight, funnily. Okay. So if this is the wrong side on this one, then we want to do this one. So like here. We just have the sleeve pieces to cut out, but I'm definitely going to mark all those since my fabric doesn't have a right or wrong side, you know. I think it'll be hard. I wish I would have drawn these on the back side so I can use my ruler better. Okay. We'll look at these tomorrow. Now let's cut our sleeves. Yeah, exactly, Nancy. Same. I wear the pajama bottoms like around the house at night, and then yeah, I don't wear pajama bottoms to bed. There's no way that's ever happening. Unless I'm camping or it's freezing. All right, so I got kind of the chalks I have here out, but you know what I wish I had is the soapstone pencil. I have so many marking implements. I need to bring some home here because they are going to be handy. I have them for that one thing I did where I tested every single one of them from Waywack. I have so many marking implements. I'm trying to get two side by side here. It's a weird pattern piece. Yeah, I just wear a t-shirt to bed. That's basically it. So the Carolyn top, all my Carolyn tops look perfect and brand new. And my pajamas look like I've driven over them with a semi-truck 5,000 times. Not to mention the fake fly gets caught on our drawers, so I've ripped the fake fly a few times. Parallel to the green there. Everything. It works on everything except for things like boucle or really textured things. Like you couldn't use it on terry cloth, you know? I have my regular clover one here too. Right here. I didn't do my little fold back trick to get that. So we need 2 each of all these sleeve pieces, and I'm going to mark the right and wrong side and their numbers on each one because I'm not that cavalier. I'm not trying to get you guys sewing drama. I still have 3 more after this. There's so many. Oh my gosh. Here we go. I rarely pin things when I'm cutting. What are you guys working on these days? Did Danny ever come up with the March theme for sewing? What is it? See this right here, like doing this point into here? This is a very classic issue in the garment industry, the cutting department. It's a pretty specific skill. And when they do this via computer, where they lay out all the pattern pieces, that's what they try to avoid, is putting a piece like that, because they're using this like motorized monstrosity. Unless they're using a laser, then it doesn't matter. You could put things like touching each other and it's fine. But the motorized monstrosity, it's like this big vertical knife. It moves up and down. And you don't want these points going right up into something else, because for the obvious reasons, just like it is with a rotary knife. And I've worked at several places where they had the cutting department, and when they train someone new, I actually really find it interesting and would like eavesdrop on it, because there's so many things I never thought about. And they would never let us lay out patterns. Like I would be like, hey, can you guys cut something out for me really quick? I just want this sample, but I need to test a couple things. I need you guys to cut it because of whatever the test was, the fabric type or whatever. And usually I would just cut my own. And they'd be like, yeah, but we lay it out when we have time. And I'm like, but I want it today. I want to sew it today. They're like, yeah, and we don't trust you for good reason. But now there's lasers, right? You're making a tunic dress from a cute stitched linen mix because I was jealous of mom's viewers. Oh, yeah, that's cool. What was the stitched fabric? What do you mean by stitched fabric? What does that mean? Wouldn't this, I really want to do this, like put them right side up and upside down, and on this fabric it would make no difference, but I'm still going to be weird and not do that. I noticed today that Heart's fabric has Cantha fabric, which, that's a weakness for me. Oh, embroidered fabric. Oh, the eyelet. The broderie anglaise. That one? The eyelet? I did see that. She had that gorgeous red eyelet. Red eyelet, man. That sounds nice. You cannot works today. No, it's okay. We got there. It's now a blouse already? She's fast, man. I'll tell you that bowline sweater, that's another one with really interesting, element to it. That thing took me like less than a half hour to make. This is the thing with knits. Knits are so dastardly, but then also so miraculous, right? It's hard to find the knit that you're thinking of for a project. It's a devil to cut out, right? But sewing it, there's no closures, there's no buttons, buttonholes, zippers, hems, finishing, facings, binding, none of that. You just sew it together, put a neckband and sleeve bands and a waistband on it, and it's done. And you can wear it right away. And I forget that. I used to sew a lot of knits, and I'm so out of practice with it, Oh, don't tell me that about Miss Matatabi. I have a gift certificate to Bolt fabric that I got for Christmas that I keep forgetting that I need to use. And they have some really interesting fabric. They're in Portland. I've been there a few times before. But they don't have a lot of photos on their website. So I'm a little nervous. You know what I mean? Jelly beans. So I got like a yard left. Wow. I think this is gonna be nice though, in this shirt. We'll see. Printed eyelet. Ooh, that sounds really neat. All right, let's just mark these pieces here. I really wish I had my soapstone pencil, but what we're gonna do, we're just gonna draw, and we're also gonna point up like that. One. I added a notch in a different place than they had because I couldn't remember what seam it was. So this one's 2. Dark purple polar fleece quarter zip. Oh, that's nice. That sounds great. That sounds really useful. Seam ripping is, yeah. You know, that's when you just cut the seam allowance off. How much do I need this 3/4 of an inch? Terrible. I know I don't need to put the arrow on these. If the 5 is right side up, we're right side up. I just did it on the 1 and then I didn't stop. Ooh, that's awesome, Aisha. Tell us about where you're at in your blazer right now. Tell us like what you've done so far, like what stage you're at and what's to come. Aisha has been taking weekly classes on making a blazer, a lined blazer, a really properly made one. Oh, we need an arrow on this one. Catch us up. There's no 9, so we're okay here. I've been baking a lot again. I used to be a pretty avid baker. And I don't know, something about moving to this area sort of took the wind out of my sails in a lot of ways. Just moving to this whole county a long time ago. But I've been into it again, making different things, freezing the extra, 'cause it's just 2 of us and I eat most of it. But this week, Michael requested thumbprint cookies. And I remember like, these are really easy to make, but I remember like, there's something about these that didn't work for me as far as tickling my sweet tooth thing. And I remember what it is, they're just so dang rich. But I tried a few with putting like almond butter. I don't have any peanut butter right now, so I put a little thing of almond butter and a couple chocolate chips on each one. And even though they're super rich, for some reason that savoriness really helped. And then I made him raspberry and some nashi, which is Asian pear or apple pears or Japanese pears. They're called lots of different things. And someone made me jelly, like 13 years ago, and they called it nashi, and actually that was work too. You started with fitting, and then you canvassed the front and did all the pad stitching. Okay. Because you don't have all your pattern pieces cut out, right? You're like, you're doing this as you go, which that is terrifying to me. I don't know why. I would find it hard to not cut everything. You started with the welt pockets. Oh, that's right. Yeah, everyone like is scared of welt pockets, but you did that like weeks and weeks ago, very first thing. Okay, so we have our back, we have our lower front, we have our yoke. I didn't cut the facings. I do need a little bit of bias. That's what we need to do. You worked, Nancy, to cut the seam allowance off? That's funny. Welt pockets are magical. I totally agree with you. I'm going to put this on the bottom. You know, I'm wondering if I have enough to use this as a lining. Welcome, Diane. Look, I saw the thing finally. Let's see if I have enough. After you canvas the front, you put it together with the back, and we did some fitting adjustments. Okay. I just got this at an antique store. There are some sewers that sell it. It's like an antique store with booths. And there's definitely a few sewers in there selling their yardage. I'm wondering if I can get this on here. Yeah, now I can. I couldn't with the larger size. I wish Terry was here. She would be like, oh yeah. That's a good lining. My green girl. There we go. Next, we'll be drafting a collar because the Jessica is 2-piece and in tailoring use 1-piece collar and shape the roll with pad stitching. Okay. Then we do the sleeves. What do you mean by that? The Jessica is a 2-piece and in tailoring, oh, you mean the Jessica has a center back seam? What do you mean by that? Because you have to have a seam right here. Oh yeah, exactly, Aisha. That's smart. Hi, Michelle. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. The Jessica isn't a super traditional one. It's close. Like it gives the illusion of that in a good way, you know. Oh, actually, let's use our binding out of this for the neck, the back neck. But it won't be on oh. Maybe instead, oh, here. So did you catch all of that? Like I didn't voice. I was gonna cut a piece of bias, but then what I'd get was a plain old, like, the fabric would look like this, right? I'm not getting the plaid on the bias because they printed it on the bias. So I can use this facing and actually cut a narrow strip like it's binding. So I'm just gonna cut this down to 1 1/4 inch. We'll pretend like it's a bias facing. Yeah, and the pad stitching, it kind of creates a sort of like, how would you describe that? It's almost like it makes a whole new fabric. Like it adds body, but it's stitched in a way that when the fabric is like, you know, since it's multiple layers and when it's moving, they don't like pull and cause like torquing or bubbles. It's going to keep it stable and kind of let it move as one, right? I'm not a tailor at all, like you guys know. So yeah, to be clear, I am not going to do the facings. I'm just going to do a little strip at the back neck. And I'm going to line the yoke with fabric. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like it's moldable. It's shapeable. I'll just save this. Never know, right? I can draft a facing though if I want. Okay. I think we are good to go. I would like to pin this to the back so I don't lose it. I'm trying to figure out if this is the back. Is that the, what is that? Here's the back right here. I recognize it. Okay. There we go. And now I can put that in there. All right. We have our extra fabric. We're good to go. And as far as thread, I have all my, this is pretty much the only thread I own at home, is all this. This thread's very nice, don't get me wrong, but I will never buy it again. I cannot stand the fact that there's this gap between the bottom of the spool and the thread, because this is what happens when I'm sewing. Even like the thread will go like this, it'll kind of dip down and it gets caught under here and all heck breaks loose. I just won't ever buy it again. It is not compatible with my machine. I don't know who decided, because you know, like this one's flush, right? Flush. I have this one spool by a different company that looks like this company, and there's a cap that screws on the bottom. You know what? My office mate loves an excuse for 3D printing. I'm gonna ask them to make me something that goes on the bottom of this. I love this idea. And I'll just move it to each thread spool I'm using. I just need one, you know? But I love the thread. It's very nice. It'd have to be a really thick felt circle though. But you're right, I could, because I do have that thick felt that he gave me. That's my backup plan. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. All right, so as far as the thread color goes, I was thinking this one or this one, I think. So this one's yellower, you know. This one's contrast, it's a little more tone on tone, and this one is a little more contrasty. In person, they're both pretty contrasty. This one looks more khaki. Yeah, Hillary, I know. I think you're right, actually. In person, the greener one actually looks a little better on the fabric. This one looks more khaki. There's a lot of contrast top stitching in this. I'll show the thumbnail at the very end, Dawn, and you'll see that in their sample, they did denim and white stitching. And so there's a center front seam. I could do the pleats, the seam, the stitching around the neck, the hem. Yeah, I think the greener one is it too. Okay, we'll do that. We'll bring that to the office. And then I'll have a spool to show my office mate and see what he thinks about making a thing. I should see if that other companies will snap on these, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't. This is Mara. So this is Gutermann. I love Gutermann, right? This is the Mara. I think the other one is Aurifil. I only have one, but it's a lighter weight thread. What is that for? Anyway. It's probably a normal weight thread, and I'm kind of a weirdo about thread now. I like the heavier stuff to sew with. So anyway, this is the Mara 70. This is the thread I use to sew things together. I know it's a little heavy, and I like it. I like poly, like a cotton poly. This is 100% polyester. Oh, are you having the same issue? Yeah, I'm over it. I am so over it. And when I got the new machine and I was setting it up at home, I was like, I can't bring all my cones of thread home. So I allowed myself to buy, I think it was like you got a quantity discount on WayWack if you got up there, and I think it was like 20. Thanks, Hillary. You're so sweet. Thanks for saying that. I love the live streams. I got kind of excited this morning. Yeah, exactly. The spool will fly off. Yeah, that happens too, because eventually the thread will get caught under there and it'll lift it and go. Or it just stops and it starts, nothing moves, and the thread arm bends down. Yeah, it needs a cap right here for me. Is yours flying off because it gets caught underneath? Or is it a whole different thing? Yeah, I think the spool holder is not going to help that at all. It is a spool holder. This is designed for a sideways spool holder like this. Like this. It's designed for a spool holder, and it draws off like that. This would work great on my Bernina, which is a sideways spool holder. But my Juki is upright. Yeah. I mean, I have those caps that go on the top, Dawn, but this is a different kind. Does the Bernina have a cap for the bottom? Because maybe I could use my Bernina. Oh, yeah. Mine is upright. I could probably show it to you. Let me see. Oops, sorry. I gotta like rotate this. Well, actually, I'll just do this. So you see, let me, oh, what happened? Oh my goodness. See, there's my spool right here. So. I don't know if that's anywhere near where it needs to be. You don't use cones? Oh my gosh. I got to like move that. That helps. I think that'll work for now. Yeah, spools were pretty short then. The little wooden ones. Maybe that's why like Coates and Clark still makes those kind. I mean, I have a cone. I don't know what kind of Juki you're using at school, Dawn. Like there's a few different kinds. That's a Juki right there that I was just showing you is a Juki TL. And then the one at my office is a Juki 8700. No, a thread stand won't be I don't think the thread stand would be for me, that's not going to be the thing because I already have a thread stand. My problem is that the thread, you're sewing along, it's pulling, and then it stops. The thread sags down, right? Because maybe it's at the top here and then it unravels a little. It gets caught under like this. Right here. It like sticks under here and then it yoinks up. You don't use cones on the 8700? Why? That would like save you guys so much money. That's crazy. You don't have two cones, one's winding a bobbin at the same time when you're sewing? That's like the magic, the magic of the industrial. That's the one thing I hate about, I'm like so spoiled by that. I love having two cones, one's winding a bobbin always, and I have one bobbin in the machine. And then that one runs out, I just swap it, and then it winds that one while I'm sewing it. It's like never ending bobbin. Oh, interesting, Nancy. So maybe it's like how the, and I don't have this problem on my cones, but cones are shaped like this, right? So the thread isn't like this where, like if you think about the thread, it's pulled and it's like, and it's drawing off right from the top, right? And then maybe it relaxes a little and then just kind of slips down, right? It gets slack. Whereas the cone, if it's at a narrow angle, it's not going to be able to do that. It's going to get hung up on like along the way. It can't go under. A thread net, I guess. I don't know if my thread nets are tight enough for this, but that's an option. I don't know. So I feel like the old thread nets were great. Now they feel weird. They feel like they will move with the thread. No, it's not because you're stitching slowly, Nancy. This happens in between my stitching. Yeah, that's great, Sylvia. Yeah, but my machine is doing both at the same time. Oh, while you sew that. Yeah, exactly. That's great. Yeah, this one I can't do that. You have to engage the bobbin winder. Where's my industrial? You have to too, but I can't sew at the same time on this one. It would stop sewing. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. It's late. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're sewing part 1 tomorrow. Thanks for coming today. If you have any questions about the fitting or the patterns, changes I did, just ask. And yeah, I think this is gonna be a pretty quick sew. Yeah, bring 2 cones of the same color. 2 cones of the same color. You can wind a bobbin while you're sewing and you'll never run out of thread. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Here, you can see the thumbnail and see the top stitching briefly before I end the stream.